Diplomatic efforts to bring an end to the Iran war are yet to have a breakthrough. U.S. officials said on Friday they were expecting a response from Tehran on Washington's latest proposal. Iran says it will respond in its own time. The ceasefire continues to hold for now, despite recent skirmishes in the Strait of Hormuz. But the waterway continues to be effectively cut off, with sailors still stranded and exports largely halted. Let's get the latest with Tohid Asadi, who's in Tehran for us. So, Tohid, still no Iranian response to the latest U.S. proposal, but we've heard some new threats this morning from the army spokesman.
Yes, indeed. When it comes to diplomatic engagement, it seems that the two sides have decided not to spill the beans about what goes on behind the closed doors. We know that mediated communication is actually underway with the mediation of Islamabad. And of course, when it comes to the two sides' proposals, we know that there are so many sticking points. But still, as you mentioned, there is this rhetoric of military, obviously nothing that we can call new, but something that looks like dancing with the same old tune when it comes to the posture and the statements that we hear from the Iranian side. We've got the army spokesperson coming out today to say that in case the enemy decides to attack Iran again, it will be surprised, quote unquote, by new weapons, new methods of warfare, and new arenas of war. This is what we heard from the spokesperson for the army. Also, he continued to say that countries that follow the United States in imposing sanctions against Iran are going to face difficulties when it comes to transiting through the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, we've got the spokesperson for the National Security and Foreign Policy Committee of Iranian Parliament, who also came out with the same rhetoric, I would say. He wrote on his X account that from today, our restraint is over. Any attack on our vessels will be met with a heavy and decisive response. That is coming under the context of the differences of opinion when it comes to this strategically significant choke point of the Strait of Hormuz. And Iran is also talking about the blockade by the Americans and necessity for that blockade to be removed to pave the way for a negotiated settlement.
Right. You talked about differences of opinions there, Tohid. Do Iranians fully support the leadership in its current stance, or is the support starting to crack with the economic impact of the war and the hardships that people are facing?
Well, frankly speaking, it's a mixture of different sentiments that we see across the streets when it comes to the public opinion. We know that starting from the early days of war, people have gathered downtown across important squares of the city, in the capital, and of course in other cities, to show their solidarity, to show their sense of nationalism, and of course to show their sense of support to the political establishment. That is on the one hand, but also we know that there is this sense of frustration, specifically when it comes to soaring prices and economic difficulties that people are facing in their daily lives. We see, and we've got this report yesterday from the Statistics Center of the country about the increase, a dramatic increase, I would say, when it comes to food prices, food-related items, and that goes the same when it comes to other items in the market. And this is creating a lot of pressure on households. There is this sort of hope that at the end of the day, in case of a negotiated settlement, that could pave the way not only for peace and stability, but also for the removal of sanctions, which is going to put I would say, certain amount of impact on the livelihoods of people. Meanwhile, there is this shadow of the war. Iranians are worried that while they're facing with this serious economic challenges on the one hand, there is a possibility of another round of confrontation, while the two sides, the American side on the one hand, and after that the Israeli side on the other, and also the Iranian side, are all talking about potentiality of confrontational scenario down the road, and that is creating an additional layer of pressure for ordinary citizens, who have already experienced two wars in less than a year.
Thank you so much, Tohid, for that. Tohid Asadi reporting there live from Tehran.